finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug, those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Too distorted. I went back and saw the playback from last night, and we were a little distorted. You guys got to tell me if my mic's going crazy like that, and we can turn it down just a little bit so I'm not going to the max. I apologize if the show sounds like that. I want to make sure it doesn't. If I'm a little quiet tonight, we're just kind of experimenting. Remember, I'm a one-man crew out here doing my own thing. So thank you guys for being here, though. Let me make sure that Russ song doesn't play. We don't need any copyrights. You guys know the deal. Format of the show is pretty simple. Today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we talk Big 12 because we got to get over the hump, the middle of the country. We're talking Big 12 and Big 12 only. So I need you guys to go ahead and get your questions in early. Throw them over here. I see a ton of people already in the chat throwing them. You guys want all your questions answered. Obviously, we're going to go over what's popping in trending, and then what happened in the news, and then we'll get to the Big 12, my predictions, look at this week's matchups, and then I'll take all your questions. For those of you who are here, shout out to you for being here. If you're watching us on TikTok, I don't respond to any questions, comments, or concerns from that place. I don't get paid from TikTok off lives. So if you go up here, you click on the little link, go to the YouTube, and you can throw your questions in over here, and I'll answer everything. And you can see the graphics on the screen. All right, you guys, I just want to make an announcement while we're here. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, it is the beginning of the show. Most people who start the show, they watch it at night. I want everyone to understand. In the world of sports, nobody's bigger than us. And I know that's a crazy statement to make. But I want you guys to understand. I asked everybody to try and beat me in the group pick'em, in the college football pick'em on ESPN. Go to ESPN. Click on the fantasy tab. Click on the games tab. I don't give a shit what it is. Go to college football pick'em. Our mode is confidence. And as you can see here on the screen, we are now ahead of every single team in America. We're ahead of ESPN's streak. We are only behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're currently in 8th place nationally. We're only back about 41 spots. 41 people can get us through. You guys can make 5 entries each, and we can blow past all these guys. I think realistically, we could get to the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can definitely get around here, 5 or 6, if we do it right. We got one more day. The goal is to try to beat me. Good luck. Once again, the winner's getting $100 worth of merch. I'm going to probably give you more. It all depends on how this season goes. As you guys can see, we're going to hit 100,000 followers on TikTok tonight. We're going to hit the almighty 100,000. That's real. So, what a dream come true for me, for my people. Thank you to Kim Jones. Thank you to Steve. Steve is one of my moderators, Mr. Talbot. Just thank you to everybody who supports me. Willie Bobo, Rico Mix, Marantz Rants, my brother. But we're about to beat somebody. We get to 100,000, and we don't stop there. The next goal is 1 million. I set my sights high. Nobody's a challenge for me. That's just how I see it. If you don't feel that way about yourself, I don't know what to tell you. All right, we're going to pour some effort into this. This is not easy. Getting to 100,000 followers in less than a calendar year is not easy. Just out of the clear blue sky. Oh, people always ask me, Rico, how'd you start? How did you start doing this? Bro, I hit record. I started talking in my living room, and I haven't changed a damn thing. Somebody bought me this to put behind me, but I just hit record, and I just talk. I do a lot of studying, though. Right? I put 7 videos up before I ate this morning. You guys want to know how hard it is? Put up 7 videos, 7 coherent thoughts on 7 different topics. Try it someday. You can't do what I do. There are kids hating on me. There are people, other creators upset with my following. Just wait till I make my video tonight. I remember these guys hating on me saying, the 52,000 people that listen to this guy, well, now it's 100,000. You haters, you hillbilly haters, deal with it. Made up our own slogan, bro. We made up our own motto and slogan. It's a marketing genius thing. It's just me talking one day, and at the end of one of my videos, I make 2,000 videos not getting paid $1. At the end of one of them, I just randomly say, and if your friends don't know, Rico knows. Then I change it. Your friends may not know, but Rico knows. I'm like, nah, that's too many syllables. Your friends don't know. Maybe I know. Just keep working with it, and here we are. Want to see a dead body? We ain't afraid of nothing. That means we're afraid of everything. Double negatives. Just, hey, I want to say thank you to all you guys, okay? Please, if you want to join us, go to ESPN. Go to the Fantasy tab. It's at the very top. On your phone, you can find it. It says Fantasy. Go to it. Click on College Pick'em 2023. You're going to get 3 different modes. Go Confidence. Confidence, and then join the group. You can do your entries. Put them in order. Good luck. Make sure you're picking Colorado to beat TCU. And if you're not, you're going to lose. All right, in news, speaking of losing, PFL, the Professional Fighters League, right? PFL, this is sponsored by ESPN. They're getting funded by the Saudis. Saudi Arabia is putting $100 million into the PFL super fights. Francis Ngannou fighting other people. Jake Paul fighting other people. Listen, this is not the recipe for success. This is a money grab. This isn't how you become competitive with the UFC. You want to be competitive with the UFC, what you should do, PFL, is allow your fighters to be in a union. If you want to be competitive with the number 1 fighting company in the world, the only way to do it is shared revenue with a union. Just like the NFL Players Association, the NBA Basketball Association, same concept. Let there be a PFL Fighters Association. Open your books, make it public, give them 48% of the revenue. You know how many fighters would flock to you? But instead, they're going the boxing model, and they're paying absorbent amount of millions of dollars for special fights. For these bullshit circus acts. Do I want to see a real boxer fight an MMA guy, a retired guy fight this guy, an amateur YouTuber fight this guy? No, that's not it, bro. If you want to be legitimate, PFL, let your fighters have their own union, because the UFC doesn't allow it. The UFC will not have it. They will negotiate with each fighter behind closed doors, off books, and they will tell the main fighters, hey, don't worry about the little guy. We're paying you. But there's guys in that prelim getting their brains beat in for $12,000, having trained for 3 months and getting $12,000. And the winner gets 24. What kind of job is that, bro? How can you make a living doing that? After paying out your gym 10%, after paying out your nutritionist, your coaches, how? So let them make a union and you will dominate. You guys don't want me running these leagues. I'll fix everything. I'm a marketing genius. Shout out to PFL. I think you're going to fail. You're going to do a bunch of super fights. The Saudis don't care. They'll throw money at it. But you're not going to dethrone the UFC unless you beat them to it. Beat them to a union. Jake Paul already wanted to do it. Anderson Silva wanted to do it. Go together. Beat the UFC to a union. Fighters will come in droves. Fighters will get the hell out of there and go to the union to ensure they get a certain amount of revenue. It's real. It's why the USFL didn't last. The USFL was out paying money individually, ton of money to all these players. Yeah, just stick with the salary cap and call it good, bro. Speaking of the salary cap, I want to teach you guys how the NFL works. So the NFL yesterday, they cut all these players. I mean, there's so many players cut, and I'm one of those guys, right, where I pay attention to every single cut. And there's 53 players on every single team right now as we speak. Everybody's celebrating, saying, so-and-so made it, so-and-so made it. It's not true. Not everybody made it. Now, of everybody getting cut, they all had to go through waivers. I talked about this yesterday. And then whoever doesn't get picked up through waivers, you can re-sign them to the practice squad. And you put them back on your team. Now, they can choose to sign on somebody else's practice squad. They can. Bailey Zappi was offered another practice squad. He turned it down. Went back to New England's practice squad instead. But people are offered practice squad slots. But here's what really happens. Look at this right here. Look at Arizona. Arizona claimed 6 players. 6 players from the waiver wire. They were a priority. They claimed 6 players from the waiver wire. One of them being one of my hidden gems, Starling Thomas V. So the Lions released Starling Thomas, and they were thinking they're going to be able to sign him to their practice squad if he cleared waivers. Well, he didn't clear waivers. None of these guys did. Elijah Higgins, that's a draft pick, guys. Elijah Higgins was a draft pick. Okay? So here's what happens. These guys all got signed to the Cardinals. That means 6 guys on the Cardinals are going to get cut. So 6 guys who thought they made the 53, one day later, they're getting cut. So you were celebrating, thought you made it, you didn't make it. You're getting cut because they just signed 6 guys, and those 6 guys must go to the active roster. If you claim a guy off waivers, he must go to the active roster. If you let him clear waivers, then you can sign him to your practice squad, and that's a bidding war at that point. Sometimes they give quarterbacks like $200,000 to come to their practice squad, just as a bidding war, just a signing bonus. But these guys made the team, so that means I'm waiting for the 6 guys Arizona's going to release to sign them. And then you go to Carolina. Carolina got 3. Chicago got 2. A lot of teams try not to claim waivers because that means you're cutting dudes from your own team. Shout out to Khalif Halasi. Now, this one right here is near and dear to my heart. Western Kentucky. This is a former kid he was at Oregon. He's a California kid. He was at Oregon first. Then he transferred to Western Kentucky. He was all-conference second team. He's a good player. And I actually pulled up his profile so you guys can see what he did. But he's 6'1", 200 pounds. This was a good player in college. Obviously went undrafted. Was with the Chiefs all preseason. And the Chiefs released him hoping he would clear waivers and then he'd come back to them. Nope. Cleveland said, hell no. We just saw that guy's better than somebody we got on our team. Now, and the only thing I'm worried about is who gets released when they sign these guys. But you've got some players in here. Alex Austin, DB out of Oregon State, getting claimed. Houston claimed 2 guys from Buffalo. It's like they knew these guys. Okay? Shout out to Isaiah Land. FAMU, Florida A&M, HBCU, All-American, a linebacker I've been really pulling for. He was with Dallas all offseason, and he gets signed by the Colts. He's on the Colts, 53 now. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for him. Darius Rush getting signed. Kai Blue Kelly. If you guys don't know, Blue Kelly is from Stanford. His father played in the NFL, and he was a draft pick this year, and I think the 6th round. He got released. Seattle went and signed him. They want him. So more power to him. I think it's pretty neat when you see these guys get signed, but unfortunately somebody on these teams, like we got a DB here from Georgia Southern, that makes me really nervous because that means my Division III DB, Anthony Kendall, could get released to sign this guy. That kind of deal. So you guys got to know about this kind of stuff. All right? I study the hell out of this. Gets me excited. This is what I care about after the last day, and I just hope every man out there that gets cut finds his journey. Here you go. Here's a guy on a journey. Devin Allen, wide receiver. Olympian, world-class hurdler, played at Oregon for a little bit, then he pursued a career in hurdles and the Olympics. Now he's been trying to make it in the NFL. He has nothing to do with this photo here, but he signed with the practice squad. And he and Greg Ward, who played quarterback at where'd Greg Ward play quarterback at? Houston, and then I thought he transferred to Miami, but definitely Houston. But either way, Eagles signed him to the practice squad. Still waiting for Devin Allen to play an actual game in the NFL. But hey, man, $200,000 to $400,000 for the practice squad. You can't complain. You can't complain at all. Inflation's mean, bruh. It's cool. So there's a lot of transactions going on, things I want to talk about. I'm not gonna kick anybody while they're down, but I told you so. Isaiah Winstead did get waived. I told you guys he wouldn't make it. Everybody got mad at me when I said that. It's just I've assessed talent. He didn't make it. Sir Roderick Thompson didn't make it. I said he wouldn't. Casimir Allen from UCLA didn't make it. It's unfortunate, man. I hate being right. I hate being right in these moments. Nuts that JJ got cut. Whiteside, he's from Stanford, gone. A long snapper getting cut. How many long snappers they got in camp? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Laquan Treadwell never amounted to anything. Gone. But I won't dwell on all these. I won't dig too deep. Usually I go line by line and explain to you guys who each person is. But it's just not necessary. Hopefully some of these guys bounce back and get their opportunity. But when you look at it, you just think, damn, what are the chances this guy gets signed again, They're going to be in the XFL. They're going to be struggling to make it. Pharaoh Brown, I like the kid. Brashard Perriman, he's been on skates the whole time. Shout out to the Ravens for making a terrible draft pick for many, many years. Many, many years. Alex Bars is here. Cam Sims. I like Cam Sims, actually. Bethel, finally done. Justin Bethel. I think it was a Cowboys draft pick. Or Colts. Can't remember. But, I'm just going through. Ty Montgomery. Stanford's finest. Used to play for the Green Bay Packers, wide receiver turned running back. Right? Ty's pretty old, man. They let him go. New England Patriots released him. So Ty Montgomery's days are numbered at this point. Willie Snead getting cut. That's amazing that there's some players out here that just won't make it. Chris Conley. Is that Georgia's finest? Is that a Georgia finest? Brian Hill getting cut, and I wanted Brian Hill to make it, y'all. Anthony Miller. And it just sucks. But that's the reality of the sport, man. It's a business. This part of this week is rough. Gives me a lot of content, but this week's rough. All right, let's go to the Big 12 schedule. Talking about Big 12 today. Big 12 questions, please. Big 12 questions, please. So, first game of the week, tomorrow, Kent State is going to be at UCF. This will be an absolute massacre. Kent State has a new head coach. Shout out to Kenny Burns. And they have a whole new team. They're starting quarterback, transfer to UCLA. They're starting 3 wide receivers. Their top 3 wide receivers left to Penn State, North Carolina, and West Virginia. They're starting running back, left to Ball State. Their whole team is gone, bro. 2 of their offensive linemen are at Colorado. Their offensive line coach left. Their head coach left. Kent State is not who you think they are, and they weren't very good to begin with. They were like 7-5 last year. Were they? 7-5, I think. And, okay, they're in trouble. They're going on the road to UCF. They're in trouble. John Rice Plumlee, the truth. Okay, I love everything about him. If you guys don't know John Rice Plumlee, he's a white baseball player / football player. He's a white guy. But back when he was a freshman, he rushed for over 200 yards in the SEC against LSU, the number 1 team in the country. When he was a freshman in the SEC, he was a 1,000-yard rusher as a quarterback. You wouldn't expect to see it when you see him, but he's Johnny Football. He's Johnny Football just without winning. He does everything right. I like the way the guy plays. UCF, John Rice Plumlee, he's explosive. If you're looking for another UCF player, Jason Johnson, he's a linebacker. He's pretty damn good. And they got a receiver, and I want to say it's Javon Baker. Am I right? Somebody will let me know in the chat. Let me look over. But Javon Baker, I believe he's a transfer from Alabama. They were supposed to get a ton of other transfers. I want to say Christian Leary was supposed to go, but he backed out. Remember this, though. When I watch UCF, I want to look at their linebackers. Their linebackers coach is Ernie Sims, former number 1 player coming out of high school. Ernie Sims, Florida State's finest. I think he was drafted 8th overall to the Detroit Lions. So that's their coach over there. That's why they're recruiting linebackers so well. People want to go play for Ernie Sims. His name holds weight in Florida, and he's doing great things. So give me UCF by a lot. I don't know what the spread is. Can somebody tell me the spread on the UCF game? I should look up these spreads, but I don't even bet, bro. I don't even care what the spread is. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Give me UCF, okay? Next game, Friday, Missouri State going to Kansas. Now, Missouri State's actually a really good football team. They got no shot at beating Kansas. Kansas has a player that I'm really excited about. Everybody talks about Jalen Daniels. No. I'm excited about Kansas, their wide receiver. He's a 2-star kid. I've made a video on him in the past. Luke Grimm. 2 stars coming out of high school. I think he's from Missouri, if I remember correctly. And he went to Kansas. Didn't start for a while. Had to develop. Just one of those dudes sticking out. And now he's a damn beast, bro. He's a white guy. I like him. He looks like he belongs on the Patriots. So Luke Grimm, Jalen Daniels, obviously they have firepower. They're going to score for days. Devin Neal at running back. It's where it's at for Kansas, okay? Saturday, first game of the day. It's noon, bro. First game of the day, Colorado at TCU. I already told you guys. I think people are ridiculous if they think TCU is blowing out Colorado. Last year, Colorado had an all-world team. They had their star team, their team that took them to the national title. It's the best team they've had in 10 years. And Colorado had the worst team last year. The absolute dog shit worst team around. We've seen the roster. We've seen the talent. They literally had 9 sacks as a team all season. They had nothing going on that team. And TCU only won that game by 25 points. TCU had 8 NFL players. Colorado had none. TCU had everybody you can think of last year. Kendre Miller, Quentin Johnston, Demas. They had another receiver. What's his name? Oh, it escapes me right now. Starts with a B. They had everybody, bro. They had a Thorpe winner. They had a linebacker. They had everybody. Avila on the offensive line. D winners. They had everyone. And they only won by 25 points. So who the hell thinks they're going to win by 30? I saw a guy write 35 plus. I see other people saying 30. Bro, it's not going down like that. Did you guys see San Jose State score on USC? Did you guys see it? Did everybody watch it? Maybe you didn't watch it. If you went to YouTube, you could have watched it for free. If San Jose State is moving the ball like that on USC, what do you think Colorado's going to do? Do you know how good the players are at Colorado? Maybe you don't. I do. I study this. The receivers at Colorado, the quarterback, the running backs, the offensive line, everything. They're upgraded at every position. I got Colorado covering the spread. I have Colorado winning the game. Now, if I'm wrong, is anybody going to come in here and go, ha ha, Rico got it wrong? No. I'm not going to let that busted shit play. Look, I started the season by telling you Colorado was going to win 4 games. That's my prediction. Colorado's going to win 4 games. But I'm willing to up it to 6 or 7 because of the additional transfer portal additions that they got in the spring. See, when I said 4 games, that was the winter. That was in December when I had seen their 25 additions. But when they went further and got rid of everybody and picked up more in the spring, I said, dude, I think they're winning 6 or 7 games. I think Colorado is going to be a problem for teams, especially at home. So the fact that they're going to TCU on the road, they don't have their advantage of being at high altitude. I don't like it, but I've looked at TCU's team. They're down 8 NFL players from last year, and they backfilled them with very substandard players. Their wide receiver room isn't great. Their running back's good. Their running back's legit. I'm telling you right now, TCU's got a running back room for days. But when I look at TCU, I'm like, who's gassing these guys? They returned their starting tight end, Jared Wiley. Good player. I can't be mad at him. But I'm telling you right now, give me Colorado. Clip that. Next game, Arkansas State at Oklahoma. Arkansas State is one of the worst teams in America. Shout out to Butch Jones. He's the head coach, former head coach from Tennessee. Butch Jones has won 3 games back-to-back years. He should have been fired a long time ago, and he has not been. He needs to be. And they're going at Oklahoma. And if you watched Oklahoma in their bowl game against Florida State, they looked like a top 10 team. And I think they've had all offseason to gel, to keep lifting weights, to get bigger, stronger, faster. They hit the transfer portal great. They recruited great. I like Oklahoma this year. I think Oklahoma's winning at least 10 games. Just keeping it real. So I got them beating the brakes off of Arkansas State. Northern Iowa at Iowa State. Man, Iowa State's got to rally, guys. Iowa State's got to figure some shit out. I was picking Iowa State to be good this year for a couple of reasons. Number one, they won 4 games last year, but they were competitive in like 6 of their losses. They only lost by 1 possession. I felt like they were competitive in every game and every loss. And it reminds me a lot of that TCU team from 2 years ago, or even the Tulane team from 2 years ago, or the USC team from 2 years ago. Like all the teams that made huge jumps, USC, Tulane, and even Tennessee, it looked like, and TCU, they looked like that going into this season. And then the gambling shit went down. Hunter Deckers is out, leading rushers is out, defensive players are out. Now you're like, what the hell? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to play Northern Iowa, and I think UNI is not bad, but everybody needs to know. What's Iowa State going to do at quarterback? What are they going to do at quarterback? So they got Rocco Becht. If you guys don't know, remember Anthony Becht, the tight end for the Jets, first-round draft pick, played there for like a dozen years. Anthony Becht, he's the current head coach in the XFL for the St. Louis Battlehawks. He's their head coach. Well, his son is on this team for Iowa State. His son is on this team. And I feel like if the team can get behind him. Now, Rocco Becht is his name. He's from Florida. But Rocco plays, and they say he's going to start, but they also have J.J. Crow or whatever his name is. Listen, they're so polar opposites. They're both 4-star quarterbacks. Let's get that out there right now. But Kroll is 6'7", 250, and a damn statue. And then Rocco Becht is just this guy, this gunslinger. 6'1" and kind of moves around and plays. Fun. Neither one of them were supposed to start this year, though. But if you want to start the JJ era and you want to start that 6'7" monster out there, he's going to be there for the next 4 years. That's your quarterback of the future. That was your key recruit this last year. Let's see it. So it doesn't matter. I feel like they should win that game. They have better talented athletes, better players. But what if they're all disjointed from all the distractions? What if they don't rally together? That's all I've been thinking about. What if they don't go? Not are they or aren't they? Just what if it falls apart? What would you do then? But I feel like they don't have any great talent at Iowa State beyond what I've told you. I think it's okay. I think it's a low-scoring game. Next game, Rice at Texas. Texas better beat the brakes off of them. Rice has JT Daniels coming in. He just lost one of his star wide receivers in Bradley Rosner. He just transferred to North Carolina State. Rice just doesn't have much going for him, right? They don't seem like they have any type of competition for Texas. We're talking about Texas, bro. And Texas has everybody on the all-conference team. Texas has everybody that you can think of. Everybody saying, all right, this is the year, Texas. If you want to align them with anybody, it's Dallas Cowboy-esque. You got your quarterback. You got your team. Go do it. Good luck. Eastern Kentucky going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's got the easiest schedule of all the new teams in the Big 12. If you didn't know, 4 teams were added to the Big 12. Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and BYU. And of the 4, Cincinnati's got the easiest schedule of everybody. Cincinnati doesn't play. Let me double check this again. I want to get it right. I can click on it and show you. Cincinnati doesn't play Texas, Texas Tech, or Kansas State. Think about that for a second. Cincinnati, new to the conference, doesn't play Texas, Texas Tech, or K-State. 3 of the best teams in the conference. What a breeze. The inverse is like a team like Oklahoma State. They also get to play all the new teams, which is really cool for them, I guess. They're playing all 4 of them. But I feel like Cincinnati's got what they need. They got Emory Jones at quarterback, just transferred in from Arizona State, former Florida starting quarterback. Cincinnati does have some weapons at receiver. They do. They got some slippery dudes. You guys are going to learn who Aaron Gordon is, if you don't know already. He was a little wide receiver at UConn last year, and I feel like he's just better than you guys think. He's better than you know. So Cincinnati's going to blow those guys out. No problem there. Next game, Southeast Missouri State. Not that great. And they're going to get blown out by K-State. Let me see what Trayshawn Ward can do as the marquee back, the primary back. Next game I care about. I do care about it. Texas State at Baylor. Baylor looks loaded. They got the leading rusher from Oklahoma State to transfer in. They got a ton of players to transfer in. Baylor got a nice linebacker in Mike Smith Jr. to transfer in from Liberty. He was the team's leading tackler at Liberty. They just have a lot of good players at Baylor. They look good. They're not ranked. Nobody's picking them to win the Big 12, but they're one of those teams like Oregon State or Maryland or Mississippi State. You got to kind of just respect them within their conference. They could cause problems for people. So Baylor looks loaded, and it's Texas State, man. Texas State, take back Texas. They have a great recruiting class, great transfer portal class. G.J. Kinney's doing his thing. And in their first game on the road, I think they want to show recruits that they can compete and play. My only concern is they don't know who their quarterback is. Is it Finley, the transfer from LSU, from Auburn, or is it Hornsby, Malik Hornsby, the transfer from Arkansas? He's so fast. I can't wait till you guys see Malik Hornsby and Drew Donnelly, who, by the way, is White Lightning. Drew Donnelly is a 100-meter sprinter, the fastest guy on the team for Texas State, transferred in from Cincinnati, former kickoff returner guy. The game of the week for me in the Big 12 is UTSA at Houston. I don't know who's winning this game. Oh, by the way, I have Baylor winning that game. But UTSA at Houston, I don't know who's winning this game. I don't know what the spread is. I don't care. UTSA has Frank Harris, came back for his super senior year. They have a ton of great players. Kavorian Barnes at running back. Dante Cephas, right? They just have great players at UTSA. I kid you not. But you're going to Houston, and Houston, I've never seen a quarterback, Dana Holmgren, do less with more. He underachieves all day long. You know, last year he had Clayton Tune and Tank Dell, and he's losing games he shouldn't be losing. This year, if he loses those games, he's getting fired. But he dominated in the transfer portal. Houston opened up their money bags and dominated in the transfer portal. They got a guy, Adari Halsey, transfer from New Mexico, complete stud. He's out of Houston. God, he's great. Out of Houston high schools is what I mean. I'm really looking forward to Houston, but I want to see UTSA light up that scoreboard. I want to see UTSA win this game, and UTSA's got to play Tennessee soon. Watch that upset alert. I'm letting you know. Central Arkansas at Oklahoma State shouldn't be a problem. Oklahoma State, despite the offseason and them losing all their star players, they actually have a loaded running back room. It's so damn good that one of the Presley brothers had to transfer out of there. And they did get a quarterback in the transfer portal. Shout out to Webb coming over from Michigan, former Texas Tech starting quarterback. So they're fine. We'll see what happens. West Virginia at Penn State. I already picked Penn State to win this game on my Big Ten day, which was yesterday. So I don't have West Virginia winning this game. It's too bad. Texas Tech going to go to Wyoming, and they're going to beat the brakes off of them. Texas Tech is real. They are real. Shout out to Dre McCray. Okay. Sam Houston at BYU. Going to surprise the world here. But I really think Sam Houston's ready. If you guys don't know, Sam Houston last season, their coach redshirted every single starter. They knew they were coming up to the FBS for their first year. They redshirted every starter. So all the starters got to play 4 games. And then they said, all right, guys, we're redshirting you. We want you to save your eligibility. So when we get to Conference USA at the FBS level, we'll be ready. And so they're moving up and they're ready. It's pretty damn awesome. What that really did, though, was for the freshmen and sophomores, they got a ton of experience playing. It's incredible. And the more remarkable thing is all those freshmen and sophomores, they were told, hey, thanks for playing, but you're going back to the bench now. We have other starters. They got shit on tape. They got stats. They got production on tape. They could have jumped in the portal. Somebody would have offered them. They've got tape. It's not just practice film. They played in games. Nobody hit the portal. Sam Houston now is all they call him. But Sam Houston, no one hit the portal. They lost one or two guys max. They lost one guy to UTSA and one guy to FCS. It's incredible. They all stuck together. Those guys are going back to the bench. That's fine. The starters are 1 year better, stronger, bigger, faster, whatever. I like this matchup. I hope they show up and show out. Now, BYU. Aiden Robbins, 1,000-yard rusher from UNLV, transfers in. Keaton Slovis, starting quarterback from Pitt, transfers in. They got some linemen transferring in from Utah, some brothers who wanted to be there, the Barrington brothers. I think they left to Baylor. The Barrington brothers left them to Baylor. But BYU, I want to pick Sam Houston to cover the spread, whatever. I'm assuming they're underdogs. So I want to pick Sam Houston to cover the spread there. So once again, my picks for the entire Big 12, going real fast, then I'll get to the chat. UCF, Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Texas, Cincy, K-State. Give me Baylor. Give me UTSA to cover the spread. Oklahoma State, Penn State, Texas Tech, and then Sam Houston to cover the spread. I very rarely pick against spreads. Let's get to your guys' questions, and we'll talk. Thank you guys for being here once again. Big 12, let's go. All right, chat. It's popping. Oh, and thank you to the 140 people that are watching. If you want to join us and see the chat and see the stats and see the graphics, hit the link, join the YouTube channel. We got it going. All right. And you can ask us a question. I'll answer it. Seth says, would Texas winning the Big 12 be similar to the Patriots winning the Super Bowl? No, Seth. No. Knee-jerk reaction, no. Not a chance in hell. Texas hasn't won a national title since 2005. So how is that Patriot-esque? That would be like the Yankees winning something or the Cowboys winning something. Definitely not the Patriots. No. Oklahoma winning the Big 12 would be like the Patriots winning. Oklahoma's been winning all those Big 12 titles. They've been in the playoffs. They got all those Heisman Trophy winners. That would be, you got it backwards. Seth says, last year for the OU versus OSU rivalry, do you think they should find a way to continue it out of conference? Is it really a rivalry? Is it? Let me know. I always thought of Oklahoma and Texas as a rivalry. Definitely not OSU and OU. I never thought of it as a rivalry. If it's a rivalry, correct me. All you Oklahomians, all you Big 12 guys, let me know. What's the rivalry called? I know what I'm talking about when I say the Red River rivalry, right? Like, I don't know this one. You can help me out. And does Mike Gundy really want it? Do they? Paul Keenan says, I feel like UCF and Oklahoma State will be very fun to watch this year and definitely some of the more slept-on teams in the Big 12. Well, yeah, Paul, I want to know who's sleeping on anybody, number one. But UCF is fun to watch. John Rice Plumlee's a great quarterback, and he's a dual-threat guy. He's really fun to watch. And Oklahoma State, man, 2-3 really good running backs. They got home run threats at running back. They're fun to watch. And the leading rusher just transferred out to go to Baylor, but they're still really good. So shout out to them. Seth, no. Steve says, Seth, no. Nope. Pats won 6 Super Bowls since 2001. Texas won 9. What did I just say? One team was a dynasty. The other one was a blip on the radar. I don't know what radar, but I feel you. Andrew Alfaro says, thoughts on C.J. Stroud. Scrub. Not impressed with C.J. Stroud. Thanks. Steve Talbot says, friendly reminder, Big 12 questions today. Thank you very much, Steve. Clayton Young says, who do you think the starting quarterback for ISU? Okay, I already went over it. Either Rocco Becht or JJ. I think JJ's the future. Why not just let him start? Give the 6'7" kid the ball and let him go out there and fling it around and see what can happen. If he starts sucking it up, then swap it out. But I don't like having 2 quarterbacks. I've said this many times. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. You know, I talked about this with the Patriots, and everybody didn't understand what I was saying. But if you read the story, let me show you guys this. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. I meant to show this to you guys earlier. If you go to the story on ESPN where you go to NFL, they're going to talk about Bailey Zappi getting signed. And when they talk about it, they do this little thing. And they say right here, Coach Belichick took the unconventional approach of exposing both quarterbacks to waivers with the hope they would ultimately return to the practice squad. And he's talking about Cunningham and Zappi. He says, at the same time, Belichick has regularly said that anytime the team exposes a player to waivers, it is prepared to lose him. So the decision reflects the view of the coaching staff of a sizable gap between Jones and the next player on the depth chart. It's exactly what I told you guys. This was a message to the locker room and the fan base. Hey, Zappy, you're nowhere near Mac Jones. We cannot have two quarterbacks. We cannot have the locker room split, the team split. We can't have people cheering for one guy and booing another. We got to all be together on this. So we're going to put this guy on the practice squad and kind of just check everybody and let them know. It's an ingenious idea. He also released both of them because he wanted, if you guys didn't know, when you put somebody on IR, if you put somebody on injured reserve, if you do it before the 53, you cannot take them off injured reserve. They're on there for the whole season. If somebody gets hurt in the preseason, they're gone for the whole season if you get put on IR. But if you're on the roster on the first day, which was yesterday, and then you get put on the IR, well, they can take you off at a later point during the year. And that's what Bill Belichick was doing. He was putting two guys on his active roster to add them to the IR the next day, which is today, and then he went back and signed his quarterbacks back. He knew they were going to clear waivers. He was sending a message to the locker room, and then he brought them back. Now, if he had lost any one of them, so be it. He said he was prepared for that to happen. But Bailey Zappi did get interest on other, practice squads. He turned them all down and went back to the Patriots. What I need you to understand here is when you look at ISU, you can't have a split locker room. Having two quarterbacks means you don't have one. So if I say, hey, you guys got a quarterback? Nope, just say no. You guys got a quarterback? Nope. No, we got two guys still trying to figure it out. When we figure it out, then we'll have one. It might be week 3 or 4. You can't have that. Split locker room. It's bad news. Rico, thoughts on NFL longevity? Sean Clifford over Anthony Richardson. Well, there's obviously a huge financial investment in Anthony Richardson and some level of expectation. There is no financial investment in Sean Clifford and no expectations of Sean Clifford to succeed. So, who's going to make it? I think Clifford's great, man. I think Clifford's a baller. I told all you guys this. When I see Sean Clifford on film and when I see him competing, he wins. Haynes King is the same way. Right? Haynes King, the transfer from A&M to Georgia Tech, same concept. You get in a quarterback battle, he beats you at practice. He's better than you. He prepares better than you. Now, does he play good enough to keep the job? Not all the time. Shout out to Haynes King. 2021, beat everybody in Texas A&M's quarterback room, was named the starter, lost the job midway through the year. 2022, goes into the offseason, Max Johnson transfers in from LSU. Let's try again. Haynes King beats everybody else out, Connor Wigman and everybody. He's just the best at preparing in practice. Starts, he loses his job midway through the year again, and now he's at Georgia Tech. Gets to Georgia Tech. They said, hey, he's got to fight for the starting battle. Okay, he won that battle. That man's a battler. That man's a fighter. So is Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford had to compete with Will Levis. And he beat Will Levis so bad, Will Levis transferred to Kentucky. And then the next year, they bring in a 5-star quarterback in Drew Allar, and Sean Clifford competes with him and beats him. So when I see a quarterback like Sean Clifford, who nobody believes in, beating everybody else out in competition at practice, it's no surprise to me that he's going to be able to beat people out and make it on rosters. So the fact that he's quarterback number 2 right now and beat people out does not surprise me. Shout out to him. Anthony Richardson has never won a quarterback battle. Never. He had a quarterback battle with Emory Jones, and they went with Emory Jones instead. The next year, there was no quarterback battle. And then you're drafted in the first round, 4th overall. You don't have to compete with anybody. You're there. You're the starter. You're not battling anyone. People need to understand the pedigree and who's earning their keep and who's not. That's how I feel about it. I don't even think for a second that Anthony Richardson outplayed Minshew, because he didn't. Minshew was better than him every day at practice. Every single day. That's why Anthony Richardson said, I'm shocked they named me the starter. Well, they got to name you the starter. They don't want to split locker room, and they need you to start winning now. They also need an excuse for when it all goes down. If it's a bad year, that GM, oh my God. I can't handle anything he's done for years now. Shout out to Matt Ryan. Shout out to, who's the kid from Carson Wentz? Stop the nonsense. Paul Keenan says, DeCorian Patterson, Caleb Etienne, and DeAndre McCray are some of the transfers I'm excited about in the Big 12. Okay, if you guys didn't know, DeCorian Patterson led the NCAA in interceptions last year. He played at Middle Tennessee State, transferring into UCF. So he's going to UCF, so welcome to the Big 12, but he's a ball hawk. Got a bunch of interceptions last year. Caleb Etienne, he's a star lineman. Star lineman, bro. Get it done. Transferred in as well. DeAndre McCray, Austin P. He's my number one transfer. I love everything about him. He's just a playmaker. He's a speedster, runs a 10.3, 100 meters back in high school. I think he's faster than that. He killed Alabama last year all by himself while playing. Austin P lost 50-0. Doesn't matter. They couldn't handle DeAndre McCray. That's why he transferred to the Big 12. And he's going to play for Zach Kittley, the best offensive coordinator in America. So I'm cool with everything they're doing there. Shout out to them. Some other transfers I'm excited about for the Big 12. Deshaun McCullough transferring in from Indiana, going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma also has the lineman from Stanford, right? Walter Rouse. Great. Both of them are great. I'm excited about them. Houston, their starting quarterback, coming over from Texas Tech. I'm excited about that young man. Oklahoma State's leading rusher transferring to Baylor. Baylor's got a bunch of quarterbacks that transferred in. I was hoping one of them would beat out Blake Shapen. It doesn't look like it happened. Shout out to R.J. Martinez, transferring in from Northern Arizona. Really like the kid. He's a Texas kid, born and raised. Probably should have transferred to Texas State or North Texas. Yeah, North Texas would have been cool. But, yeah, there's transfers. A.D. Mitchell going to Texas. There's a bunch of studs. There really is. If I was to sit down and break it down, I can pull this up. Let me see if I can find my top 50. My top 50, if I look at my top 50 coming into the the Big 12, on offense, let's see any of these. Oh, Trayshawn Ward, K-State. Are you kidding me? Trayshawn Ward finally getting to be the marquee back. Let's see what he can do. Get more carries. He averages 6 yards a carry. He's a Florida State transfer going to K-State, replacing Big Shoes, right? Big Shoes and Deuce Vaughn. But I'm excited for Trayshawn Ward. Let him do his damn thing. Donovan Smith I already talked about, going to Houston. Aiden Robbins, UNLV to BYU. Good for him. There's Dre McCray. Marquise Gums got beat out at Arkansas. That's another day. It's for another conversation. Casey Thompson leaving. Well, he's at FAU. That's a Sunday conversation. Braylon Presley hitting the portal going to Tulsa, leaving Oklahoma State. We'll talk about that some other day. Yeah. So that's just the offensive guys, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think the Big 12 is going to have a good mix of transfers making a difference. 11 games on Thursday, folks. Get your picks in now. Very much so. Yep, I'm gonna break them all down in a video on TikTok. People give me shit about it. It's okay. Good afternoon, Rico. Good afternoon, David in Arizona. Good to see you again, brother. Good to see you, Clem Bohm. Good. Hi, Wyatt Wendry said, Rico, I want to take Texas State Baylor under 62. I'm kind of scared of Kenny. So remember this. G.J. Kinney scored a lot of points at UIW. I want to say they averaged over 40 points a game at UIW. Now, are they able to put up those many points against Baylor? I don't think so. Is Baylor going to be rusty? I don't know. But 62 sounds like a lot of points. I'm not a betting man, but I would take the under on that. 62 is a lot. That means you think it's going to be a competitive game, or you think it's an absolute 50-10. Like, I don't understand, right? Shout out Sydir Mitchell, representing New Jersey football well at Texas. Paul Keenan, this guy really knows his Big 12 football. So Sydir here, Sydir is at Texas. He's a defensive lineman, huge man. But I think he got injured out of DeMatha Catholic. I think he got injured this offseason. Just double check that. I hope he's doing better. But I could have sworn he got injured back in maybe August this month. Maybe. Could have been injured a couple weeks ago. What's up, Rico? How's your day going? My day's going, Clem. You know, I went and had lunch at a Mexican restaurant down the street, one of my favorite places to eat. I didn't mean to rhyme. It's a bad time. But I went over there and sat down. I'm finishing my meal, and one of my old staff sergeants, he's been in the Army about 12 years. Shout out to my boy, Ware. He walks in. He doesn't see me in the corner. I'm eating by myself. And he sits down. He's in uniform. And I just go, hey, Ware? And he looks over and he goes, oh, my God. He jumps up, joins me at the table. And we sit there and we chop it up for about an hour. And I ended up buying him his lunch because I'm always going to take care of my guys if I see them in passing. But it really, really lifted my day and my spirits, because sometimes you know the haters will get you down, and you start doubting yourself for a moment. But when you run into an old friend and a person you used to mentor and lead every single day, it was nice to see what he's achieved and what he's come into, because he's a staff sergeant promotable, so he'll be a sergeant first class pretty soon. I'm just super excited for the young man, and shout out to him. I hung out with him for about an hour. Just decided that was more important than making content. So I'm having a good day, man. It's nice to run into an old friend. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. What up, Tri Glasson? Texas, where are we at? Sorry, it moved on me. It moved. What's up, Rico? Texas versus Bama. What's going to happen? Well, the same thing that happened last year. I think Texas wins the game. If you're telling me that Texas didn't win the game last year, you missed it, because they outplayed them every single way. Freak accident. I think Texas wins that game. Charles Marshall says, how your day going, Top? It's going. We're here. There's a damn hurricane outside. It's been raining all day, and it's humid. AJ Interview says, here, you boys and girls, hit that like button. Thank you guys very much. We're getting better at it. We're hitting the like button. We're at 33. If you're in the show, you got to leave it, hit the like button, then come back in. If you're on TikTok, when you get over there, before you enter, hit the like button. We're straight. But we're trying to break 100 one day. We have 150 people watching every day, 160 people. We get 1,000 views at night when we go to bed, but we can't get 100 likes. I would like 100 likes on any given day. Back to what we're saying here. How's your day going? Here you go, boys and girls. Yep. Utah backup quarterback better than Mertz. If you guys didn't hear, Cameron Rising's not going to play. Doesn't matter. Graham Mertz is T-rations, bro. Graham Mertz is T-rash. All right? He's hot garbage, which is just fancy garbage, bro. I don't like Graham Mertz as a player. I've watched him. I've broken down the tape. If he throws more than 18 passes, they lose. But he's not going to. They're going to run the rock like crazy. I think that game becomes a lot closer than people think now that Cameron Rising's not in it. We'll see what happens. What are your opinions on West Virginia? AJ, my opinions on West Virginia are they actually rallied the wagons really well this spring. So let me explain. Neil Brown on the hot seat, head coach, not a big fan. Okay, losing your starting quarterback, not a fan of it. Fine. I was out there on my drum, beating on my drum, saying this guy's a terrible coach, got to get rid of him, the culture's bad. Look, they lost everybody in the portal, all this shit. You know what happened in the spring? They started knocking it out. In the spring, they started getting certain players in the transfer portal, right? So they started getting transfers from Georgia Southern. They started getting guys who can really play football. I went and watched the tape. I'm like, well, they just signed this kid. Let me go watch the tape. Whoa, that's an NFL player. What the hell? I like West Virginia's offensive line. They have two very good offensive linemen. My biggest concern is they're playing Penn State, bro. You're not going to beat Penn State if you're West Virginia. I don't see it. And if you do, then Penn State's in a world of hurt. So I think West Virginia's got an uphill battle, but I like them trying to circle the wagons and be better. If you guys don't know what circling the wagons mean, it's just, rounding up your defenses and protecting what's inside. But Aubrey Burks at safety for West Virginia is a great player, and I hope that, they can build off of him. But they have a good team, guys. Good players. They just need to be better coached. They need to execute as best they can. But other than that, they're going to be in an uphill battle. Shout out to C.J. Donaldson. I hope he runs well. Can Chandler Morris lead TCU to a Big 12 championship? Well, he's the starting quarterback for TCU. If he doesn't get hurt, he's very fragile. Chandler Morris is a baller. Can he lead them to a Big 12 championship? I don't think so. I think TCU loses to Colorado. I think TCU loses 7 games this year. I don't think TCU is great. I think they had a huge jump last year. They won a lot of games in the second half. They had 7 or 8 draft picks. They do what they do. But other than that, I don't see it. I looked at the transfer portal class, who they replaced with who's out, who's in. I'm just not sold. Great defensive secondary for TCU. Not sold on the front 7 at all. So I think TCU struggles. Biggest transfer impacts in the Big 12. I think I already talked about that, AJ, if you rewind it. How is Iowa State doing? What up, Super Colt? And what do you think their schedule? Because I don't see any games that are clear wins. I think even you and I will give them issues. So if we don't see any games that are clear wins, let's talk about that. Because what do we consider clear wins, right? When you look at Iowa State's record, they're playing UNI, they're playing Iowa. They're going to beat Ohio. If Ohio doesn't have Rourke back, Ohio looked atrocious without Rourke. So they can beat Ohio at that point if there's injuries there. They're not winning any of these other games. Not in my book. They got a shot with BYU. Coin flip. They got one coin flip. 2 coin flips. 2 coin flips. They better beat Ohio and Northern Iowa. They're looking at a 4-win season. Let's get Matt Campbell on the road. Got to go. Peace. I think it's going to be a rough season. They're not going to a bowl game. Somebody's got to lose in the conference. They're probably going to do it. They're probably going to lead the way in that regard. Your volume's low, Top. My volume's too low. I apologize if it's too low. Let me know. Am I still too low? Somebody talk to me. Test. Mic check 1, 2. I don't want to be distorted. I apologize if I'm too low. Turn your stuff up. Kenny Logan Jr., KU safety, 100-plus tackles last 2 years, largely due to issues on the D-line and defense backs. A lot of fun to watch, but if you like watching a DB, that can hit. You know, Steve, this is true. In high school, I had 23 tackles in a game. I set my high school record for 23 tackles in a game against a team called Cathedral City, and we lost the game 48-20. I was the free safety. I should not be leading the team in tackles. We were getting blown out. And that's what people need to understand is anytime you see somebody leading the team in tackles, that's bad news. I'm trying to turn this up. That's too loud, huh? Let me see. Mic check 1, 2. Oh, that's distorted as a mother. I'm going to keep it right here, y'all. Oh, no, you know what I got to do? I'm sorry, guys. Let me fix this. This is what I got to do. Mic check. Test. I'm trying to get this black bar up. Let me do this. Mic check 1, 2. 1, 2. I'm sorry. Test. There we go. I'm going to leave it like that. I hope it's not too distorted at that point. You guys let me know in chat. I'll get back with you. I apologize. Somebody let me know. How we looking? How we sounding? There I go. A little better. Sorry about that. Sounds better. Thank you very much. Sorry about the whole show if I've been sounding like that the whole time. Let's go back up to the chat. Oh, boy. There's a lot to go through here. And I cap my shows at 2 hours, so we got an hour to do it. Let's go. Texas Tech, record this year. I want to tell you I have them winning a lot of games. Texas Tech, we're going to know more, but as of right now, I have them winning at least 9 games. As of right now. Jordan Love, preseason thoughts. Looks good. Looks good in the preseason. Looks prepared. Looks like he's been getting better all these years, right? So more power to him. Is K-State going to be the same or last, or will they be worse or better? The same as last, or will they be worse or better? Well, I think it's going to be difficult to duplicate what they did last year, winning the conference, just because the rest of the conference looks really stacked. So they're going to be competitive. They're not terrible. I love Chris Kleiman. I love what they're doing. I wouldn't say that they're better or worse. They're competitive in a conference. They're towards the top 4 or 5 teams for sure. The Colts wanted Jalen Waddle for the Jonathan Taylor trade. Okay. It didn't go through. Jordan Love, preseason thoughts. Never repeat your question. You'll get muted. Always going to support. Thank you very much, Trey Glasson. Lars, will Hunter Decker's being out affect ISU? Yeah, always. Always. You're losing your starting quarterback, of course. Nathan Goodman, congrats on the 100K. Well-deserved and earned. You are a grinder. Thank you, Nathan. Gant says, how do you feel about Schoonmaker? Schoonmaker, tight end from Michigan, drafted. He's at Michigan, right? Did he get drafted? Am I thinking of the right kid? Got drafted by the Cowboys? Tell me I'm thinking about the right kid. Am I right? Somebody let me know. Either way, if you want to know what I thought about him, go to the Cowboys draft preview. It's on my playlist. You just go find the playlist, search do a hashtag Cowboys, hashtag Rico Knows. The video will come up and you can watch that. Shout out to the relentless amount of content that Rico puts out. I try my best, bruh. Wexty says, you said in your LSU and Bama predictions that Ole Miss beats both of them. I'm curious on your Ole Miss predictions and what you think if they can win the West. Wexty, that is a SEC question. That's for tomorrow. I don't talk SEC today, but thanks for being here. AJ Interviews. Today during study hall, a few kids challenged me to say what teams random players are on in the NFL. I gave them what college and when they were drafted as well. Safe to say they were shocked. Do me a favor, AJ. Stop talking to kids in study hall. Study, bro. Don't be debating people. I don't debate people. I worked, and nobody even knew I knew sports. Like, the people I worked with, they don't even know I knew sport. I'm at work, bro. I'm the first sergeant. I don't talk to them. We're not hanging out and shooting the shit and debating about anything. I don't debate you about nothing. I go to work. Hey, at ease. Means be quiet. Get back to work. And then I get to work. I got to focus. I was just having that lunch with my soldier today, that guy Ware, and he's like, Top, I didn't even know you knew sports. I just laughed at him. I don't debate nobody. Don't be at study hall trying to shock nobody. You see a girl, give her the shocker. Austin Artverson, 100K, and that's just followers. Lots more are hearing the word and not following. Congrats on the growth. Thank you so much, Austin. That may be true. I need the followers. AJ Interview says they asked how I guessed all them, and I said it's years of knowledge. There it is. This guy's a character. What up, Tom? Jordan Love preseason thoughts. I already talked about it. Thought he looked average, but every talking head is saying he looks good, and I don't see it. Want to know your thoughts. Yeah, I thought he looked fine. Super Colt, who do you think is the best wide receiver in the Big 12? Well, it's hard to say that it's not Xavier Worthy, but if I had to pick somebody else, I like the Presley brother at Oklahoma State. There's Brennan, right? Brennan and Braylon Presley. I like Brennan. The older brother won a bunch of state titles at Bixby in high school, never lost a game, and his brother just transferred out. But yeah, Brennan Presley, to me, pretty damn good player. I like everything about him. He doesn't drop passes. Xavier Worthy does. So that's for me. But I also like Dre McCray. Dre McCray at Texas Tech. Those are my 1 and 2. Garrett Green or Nico? I like Garrett Green. That's West Virginia quarterback nonsense there, guys, in case you're wondering. What's good, Rico? Hope you have an amazing day. Congrats on 100K. Thank you very much, Corey Flores. Same to you. My Steelers picked up Desmond King. What do you think about the pickup? He will be our slot corner most likely. I haven't put any thought into it. I haven't assessed it, so I don't think much of it. Outlook for Oklahoma State, potential sleeper in the Big 12. Toughest games are K-State and OU, both in Stillwater. Yeah, I think they have a lot of easy games. Outlook is I hope they win some games, or Gundy's going to be on the real hot seat if they don't, because they might need just a new voice. They really do. But I don't know. I think they win a lot of games because I think they win at least 7. Evan Kramer says, Texas record prediction, I see 11-1, but want to know your thoughts. Yeah, they got to go. They got to win 10 or more. They got to win 10 or more. It's a terrible season. Stephanie V, what up, Steph? I get a $3 tip. Thank you so much, Ma. That helps pay my bills. Shout out to Steph for the tip. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful for the tip. Boom. Fist bump you. Wexty says, check out Malik Heath, undrafted free agent who made the Packers 53-man roster. Yeah, you guys have been spamming me about it. Thoughts on 5-star OM commit Kamarian Franklin. I don't get too excited about commits at all. They change their mind all the time. We'll wait to see them enroll in school and actually make the 2 deep and play in a game, because usually they just transfer if they don't make the 2 deep. So I'll talk about them when they hit the transfer portal. Thoughts on Xavier Gibson from SFA making the 53-man roster. I thought that was expected. Was that not expected? I thought that was. I didn't think that was a big deal. Brad Strickland, how about those Baylor Bears? Yeah, I think they're a middle of the pack team. I think they got a lot of work to do. Aranda's a great coach, though. If there's anybody that's going to surprise somebody, like Baylor can be a dark horse team that nobody's talking about. They can. They have the talent. Shapen's got to play better. What do you think about Jalen Daniels at Kansas? I think he's a playmaker. I think he's good. I think he's a poor man's KJ Jefferson, but I think he's good. Kobe Hudson from Auburn and Javon Baker from Alabama. Yep, UCF for sure. They got studs. Do you think Sean Clifford can eventually take the quarterback job from Jordan Love? You know, I jokingly say that in videos and stuff just because he's so good, but I don't think he's going to take it from him. I think eventually Jordan Love's going to either play up to his potential or play up to his ability, one of the two. And I don't think his ability and potential are equivalent, if you catch my drift. 35.5 for the UCF Kent State game. Yeah, give me UCF 35.5. Give me UCF 35.5. I think Kent State is completely depleted. I saw everything they lost in the portal, and I saw everything they gained. Give me UCF 35. I don't think Kent State can score. I don't think they can score at all. Give me UCF 35.5. Thank you, AJ. Hey, Rico, could you possibly make a video on Thomas Incoom, undrafted out of Central Michigan, made the Broncos 53-man roster? Chris, I did. I made it today. You didn't see it because I called it. I think I called it I miss sometimes. It's one of my most recent videos, like in the top 5 most recent videos. Thomas Incoom. I made videos on Thomas Incoom. I made videos on him before the draft. I told everybody how great he was as a transfer and what he did once he got to Central Michigan. Like, I believe in Thomas Incoom. And I believe in him making the Broncos roster. Yep. It's already been made. Saw your brother on TikTok. He has a great channel, too. Thank you, Rusty. Shout out to him. I find his channel very boring. It's not my thing, but he talks finances. More power to him. Brandon Washington says, Ronnie Bell, 49ers, only good draft pick. They had a terrible draft. It was terrible. Taking a kicker in the 3rd round? Are you kidding me? Taking Latow, a guy you want to cut in the 3rd round? You're trash. Steve Talbot says, I don't think I have ever heard you talk about the importance of a well-placed bye week. Any general thoughts? Well, most teams don't have control over their bye week. Scheduling is very difficult to coordinate. I don't think that a well-placed bye week is all that big of a deal. You get a week to recover, and then you just got to keep playing. I don't really care. Like, I don't put any thought into it. I'm mad when there's a team on a bye because I want to stay in rhythm. But I'm sure they enjoy that week to recover and get better. Rusty Scapano says Colorado on the money line. Okay. It's Ghost Hunter. What up, Joe P? Ghost Hunter is a die-hard Florida fan, just so you guys know. Talk about Cam Rising being out for the UF game. Does this give UF a chance? It definitely gives them a chance, but I'm not talking about it. Tomorrow is the SEC, and then Friday is the Pac-12. I do not talk about those today. I'm only talking Big 12 today. If Colorado beats TCU, the Buffs will win at least 5 games. This is a fact. Campbell on the hot seat at Iowa State. Totally agree. I'm with you, Rico. TCU doomed. Hey, I could be wrong. They could be great. Ashton, this happens a lot. Rico knows. Thank you. Quinn Ewers going to go off. I believe so. Lars Dick says, is Sam Houston going to be a problem their first year in the FBS? Do you think they win 3 to 5 games? So, I already talked about them. If you go over here, my prediction on them. When I did top new coaches, Casey Keller right here is the Sam Houston coach. I'm going to show you guys. And I have them winning 6 games. So I have Sam Houston winning 6 games. So that's how I feel about him. I think very highly of Sam Houston and Casey Keller. Former national championship winning coach, Casey Keller. He used to coach at Delaware, winning national titles with Joe Flacco and others. So how do you feel about LSU? That's a question for Thursday. Good day, sir. I thought that TJ Finley was the guy after he replaced Bo. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah. Big and slow. Big and slow. He does follow the channel, by the way. He does follow the channel. He's sent me a message. UTSA favored by 2.5 over Houston. Wow. Like I said, I think UTSA versus Houston went to overtime last year. Fun game. I'm telling you guys, I like UTSA a lot this year. You brought in, he was at LSU. Famous VT, he's been at Auburn for the last 2 years. Thank you very much. Evan Kramer, West Virginia could honestly go 1-11 or 2-10 looking at their schedule. Evan Kramer, I'm aware. It's rough. Sean Underwood, thoughts on Jalen Daniels, pro quarterback? I try not to assess pro pedigree, pro potential until after the season. I don't like to do it before. I got to see how you play in your final appearance on the field. Noah Thompson says, Mike Gundy says no starter as of now. Do you think Bowman all the way? Yeah, I think Bowman's the starter. If he's not, then what the hell are we doing? Like, why did we bring him in if he's not the starter? Right? UNC or South Carolina, go back and watch ACC Monday. I'm not going to talk about it again. Lewis Hinton, what up, brother? Roll Tide, roll. Noah Thompson says Bedlam, but yes. Oh, Bedlam, that's right. It's a rivalry, but one-sided. Thank you. I know this. I just slipped my mind. Greg Schiano will be fired if Rutgers doesn't get to a bowl game. Thoughts? My thoughts are you should have been here for yesterday's show. I talked about the Big Ten already. Every day has a different theme, guys. We're only talking Big 12 today. We talked Big 10 yesterday. ACC's Monday. Get with the program. We're doing it all season. I somewhat agree. OU 90 wins. OSU 19. Damn. Rico, who is underrated teams? Well, in the Big 12, the underrated teams would obviously be Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Baylor. I believe they're all underrated. They don't get enough credit or praise, and maybe even Kansas. Those are your underrated teams. You're focusing on Big 12 tonight, yes. Xavier Gibson and Jason Brownlee make the 53. Yep, get excited. Your boy Jaden, no, he's talking about the Mountain West right now. Oh, you're talking to somebody named your boy Jaden. Just join the Pick'em League. There you go, B. Willis. Make 5 entries. If you join the Pick'em League, make 5 entries. Confidence, 5 entries. Do you think Mac Jones is gone after next year? We're going to see how he plays first, Love Sauce, before I make any type of guesses at that type of shit. I don't like to be wrong, so got to wait. Thoughts on Braden Willis? Stud? Braden Willis, stud. Yep, I like him a lot. Ivan Lindahl says, what do you think about undrafted corner Stephen Gilmore making the Lions 53-man roster? I wish he didn't. Make the roster. I couldn't believe they took him over Starling Thomas V, but shout out to the Cardinals for believing in Starling. Steve says, kind of like 2 presidents, it really works with 2 quarterbacks. Fair. You should have said 2 girlfriends. Noah Thompson, I think the saying goes, if you have 2 quarterbacks, then you have no quarterbacks. Yep. Tom says, Jordan Love preseason thoughts. Thought he looked average. Bro, you've asked this many times now. Big B Sports says Haynes King throwing motion is horrible, but he fights. Shout out to you, Big B Sports. Good to see you, Brian. Brian's a big, if you guys want to throw him a follow, you should. Big B Sports talks everything. Hey, make it make sense. He's on YouTube. He's on TikTok. He has a podcast. I've been a guest on his show. I want to tell you, Haynes King has a horrible throwing motion, but when he goes to practice, he's a scrapper, bro. He's fighting. Let's see what, hey, you know who his quarterback's coach is now? It's Chris Winkie at Georgia Tech, so let's see if he can fix that. Trey Stevens says, Rico, does the addition of Braylon Presley at Tulsa make the Golden Hurricanes the team to beat in their conference? No, not necessarily. Tulsa has a lot of work. I'm going to talk Tulsa on Sunday. Group of 5 teams. The reality is this, is Tulsa lost. I mean, they have a stud quarterback. You guys want to see a great dual threat quarterback nobody's talking about? Braylon Braxton. Beast of a player. I'm actually going to make a video on him. You know what? I'm going to make a video on him before the season starts so I can say I told you so. Braylon Braxton is the truth. And Braylon Braxton and Braylon Presley. But the problem is they lost their head coach. He's now the Auburn, Philip Montgomery, the Auburn offensive coordinator. They lost their best linebacker, right? Justin Smith. He's now at Oklahoma State. They lost Wade, their best offensive lineman, and Muskrat, their second best offensive lineman. Both of them went to Auburn with their head coach. There's just a lot of people that Tulsa's missing. So what do I do at that point, right? I think they didn't find all the answers in the transfer portal either. Anthony Goodlow went to Oklahoma State. It's rough. It's rough. But I do really like Braylon Presley. Go watch his film. He's the best. How do you think the Iowa Hawkeyes will fare this season? That was asked yesterday. That's a Big Ten question. That's on Tuesdays. Smith is nice. Yes, he is. Thoughts on Jaden Higgins at ISU? No real thoughts. Hope he plays well. Yep. Mike May says Saturday about to be lit. I hope so. Sean Underwood says, why do you think Baker Mayfield flopped after looking promising early in his career? So, Sean Underwood, what do we consider a flop? What do we consider a flop? He won a playoff game. How many quarterbacks have won playoff games? How many? Baker Mayfield's thrown for over 100 touchdowns in his career. He started over 60 games. How long's the average career last? He's been in over 5 years now, 6 years. What are we doing? Why are we labeling him a flop? He's had terrible coaches. Terrible coaches in Cleveland. None of them are still employed. Terrible coaches in Carolina. None of them are still employed. I think Baker Mayfield's great. You know, some people say, why did Ricky Williams flop? Ricky Williams flopped. You ever looked it up? Ricky Williams has over 10,000 rushing yards. Sometimes we put too much expectations on players because of where they were drafted, and we assume they're flops. When they're actually out here carving away and making a living doing what they love. I am in Baker Mayfield's corner all day long. That man's got it. He's got the juice. And he's also one of the top 5 college quarterbacks of all time. All time. You guys don't like it, but Tim Tebow's there. Baker Mayfield's there. Both of them. Get at me. Hello, Rico. Hood to see you again. Good to see you again, Devil Dog. Thank you. Noah Thompson says, do you like the defensive coordinator hire at OSU, or is it going to be Derek Mason 2.0? I owe you an answer. BRL Film says, have you already made your predictions for tomorrow? Yes, you got to rewind it. Not for tomorrow, just for the entire week for the Big 12. Tomorrow's games, I'll be doing that tonight. That'll come out tonight. Big 12. I have other things I need to talk about. Bunch of videos coming out tonight after the show. Good. Brian says, do you believe that Auburn can ruffle some feathers in the SEC? I believe you got to ask that question tomorrow. Thank you. That's it. Thursdays are SEC questions. Score prediction for USC Nevada. Wasting my time right now. Gators beating Utah. What are you guys doing? This is Big 12, guys. Read it. Man, I probably should have adjusted it. I think the title was wrong. Also, shout out to Florida for playing out of conference. Don't care. Big top 5 high school game in Friday. Miami Central versus Bishop Gorman. Hope it's a good game. Hope they play great. Love it. TCU will not have a repeat performance like last year. Correct, Cruz Garza. I don't see it. Video says, when Gavin Holmes transferred to Texas, you said you thought he would start at corner. Is that still the case? I like Terrence Brooks a lot this year. Yeah, I still really like Gavin Holmes. I really do. And if you guys don't know, Gavin Holmes transferred in from Wake Forest. I just watched his tape, and I just saw a player, man. And when I watch tape and I go, wow, that's a football player, I don't ever change my mind on that. Like, I have conviction on it. I'm sticking with it. I believe in that guy. So shout out to him, Gavin Holmes. What's your opinion on Nico? He plays at Tennessee, and that's on Thursdays. Do you think Zach Wilson could end up being a good quarterback after learning under Aaron Rodgers for 1 or 2 years? I don't think he has to learn under Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not going to teach him anything, okay? Aaron Rodgers is out there for himself, trying to win games before he gets the hell out of the league. I think Zach Wilson needs to go to a different team with different players that he's never let down. Okay? You can't fix when you're with somebody and you're dating and you do them dirty and you break the trust with that significant other, you cannot fix that relationship. All of you guys out there right now, if you're in a relationship and it's on again, off again, on again, off again, dude, get the fuck out. Like, just jump ship, bro. Cut sling, get the hell out of there, go find somebody new. Go find somebody you've never hurt. Go find somebody that's never hurt you. But you're not going to fix that one. It's over. Okay? It's beyond repair. This guy went to a locker room and he refused to take responsibility for his ineffectiveness. And he wouldn't apologize to his own players. You got to go, man. You're not winning nothing. You're not winning over anybody in this locker room. You're out of here. And that's what's important. People got to understand. He will never be successful in New York. Trade him. Get him out. He needs a whole new locker room. Needs a whole new relationship. Those guys don't trust him. He's a good player. He's not bad. They just don't trust him. And I wouldn't either. Biggest sleeper team this year in college football. I'm not sleeping on anybody, Cruz Garza. I know all the teams. I'm not sleeping on anybody. I don't know what to say to that. Your content got me back to watching track. The World Championships in Budapest was a joy to watch. You know, Bass, this is so cool. I've been watching track my whole life. I was a track athlete in high school. I'm a track almanac here. And I was watching track my whole life thinking it was no big deal that I watch track the way I do. I thought everybody watched it the way I do. I get excited for track meets. Everything stops. I watch it, and I'm doing it, right? So I had my father move in with me a couple years ago. I was just letting him hang out with me, and we're watching a track meet one day. And he just looked over at me while we were watching it. And I just kept talking. I'm like, oh, you see this guy right here? He did this. This is his PR. This. I'm just explaining every person down the line. And then as they're running and doing all their events, I'm explaining everything. My father just looked at me and he's like, bro, you know more than these knuckleheads on the TV. And I said, yeah. He goes, you got to be talking, man. And so he went on YouTube and did a search for like some podcast. And it was on a website. I think it was, what's it called? Sports Track or Track Sport or something. They're like super popular dudes talking about it. And my dad's like, look at these guys. They don't even know what they're saying. And they had no clue. They're making the wrong predictions. They're doing track is near and dear to my heart. So when I get a chance to make a video on track, I will. I'm obviously busy with football season, but track is everything to me. So shout out to you guys for enjoying it. I'm glad I can tell the stories the way I want to and share them with you guys. I'm glad I can spark that joy in track. But it really stuck out to me when my father told me, hey, Rick, you should be doing this. And here we are a year later, no clue that I would be doing this, just in a different way. Pretty cool. Shout out to my pops. Devil Dog says, who you got, LSU or FSU? I got time. I talked about that on Monday. Go watch the show. It's like yesterday. Thank you. Thoughts on undrafted free agent Ronnie Hickman making the Browns 53? I like Ronnie. Cool. Congrats. Hope he keeps it there. Turn it down a little bit. It was fine before to me. Go back to what it was before. Oh, am I still sounding like trash right now? You guys got to let me know. Eric about to go to Last Chance U before jail. I don't know. He doesn't look like a student to me, guys. You can't go to any schools unless you're a student. Drafted to the Cowboys. Thoughts on Oklahoma and Dylan Gabriel? I hope Dylan Gabriel plays well. I love what Oklahoma's doing this year. I hope they have a big year. What do you think about Texas Tech? Cade says, what do you think Texas Tech can do to improve in the season for next year? Can do to improve in season and for next year. They just got to come together and win, man. They also got to get, a 5-star quarterback. But they're great. I like everything about Texas Tech. Just want to be clear. Sergio Mendoza says, Rico, what do you think is Baylor's record? What games do you see them losing? Did we already pull them up? Did we already pull up Baylor? I'll pull it up. Give me Baylor. Full team schedule. Baylor's going to lose to Utah. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe they lose 4 games. 4 games. Give me 8-4 Baylor. 8-4 Baylor. They look pretty good. 8-4. What up, Rico? Blessings, brother. What up, Jared? Good to see you again. Just staying out the way of this hurricane. Enjoy the show. Thank you so much. Is Warren Sapp joining Colorado's staff? Is it a good move? I don't care. That's not a Big 12 question, but thanks. Thanks for the answer, Rico. You got it, Tom. Trent says, thoughts on the recent moves the Big 12 has made in realignment? They seem to have set themselves up for stable in the future. Yeah, I've talked about this in many videos. I think they're the best basketball conference in America. I think they are fine and healthy in football. Probably a lot of parity and balance. I'm excited for the football conference. I'm excited for the Big 12 as a whole. And they have a good TV deal, so shout out to them. 6-6 Texas. Okay, shout out to Jesus. Jesus Pinto Bean is up in here. Tom says, are these daily conference streams going to be happening all season? Interested in getting in on the Big 10 one? Yes, that's the schedule. I'm going to be doing a different conference every day. Why is Charlotte predicted bottom tier of their conference when they're adding a bunch of Power 5 players and players with size via the portal? Noah Hanner, I talk Charlotte and Group of 5 schools on Sunday, not today. So, Devin Williams says, out of Temple, Texas at Tulsa this year. Any thoughts on him? Yeah, I'll talk about him on Sunday. That's Group of 5s. I know you hate players asking for exceptions for second transfers, but what's your thoughts on Tyler Brown from CU being denied despite witnessing his coach die in front of him? Matt, I think when you transfer a second time, if you get denied and then you get denied on your appeal, that's it, bro. I don't care about the storytelling. Okay, you can tell the story however you want, but if you didn't show proper justification for hardship or reasons for transferring, like, let me give you an example. He saw his coach die at Louisiana Lafayette. What's that got to do with leaving Jackson State? You're at Jackson State. You're in a healthy environment. You're contributing. You have a 4.0 GPA. You're playing on the football team. You're at that university. Why did you have to leave Jackson State? Were you having nightmares at Jackson State? Because you're telling me he watched the coach die, meaning he suffers from PTSD at that point. It's depression, PTSD, anxiety. Let's talk about it. But how is that justification for leaving the university you're currently at? It doesn't fly. So great storytelling. Thanks for telling me all about it. Thanks for passing it to Joel Klatt to pass it to the world. But it doesn't move me, bro. It's not a justification or a reason to leave Jackson State. Shouldn't have left Jackson State. Unless he had his degree. Get your degree. No, everybody lets you play. No problems there. Finish your degree. Stay at the school. I'm not a big fan of double transfers. Transfer once. Transfer once for fit, culture, degree, pedigree, being close to home. But transferring to Colorado, what was so bad about Jackson State? I understand you saw your coach die at another school. Doesn't make sense to me. It's just a bullshit reason to come with. It's like all these players saying they're moving close home to be near their grandmother because their grandmother's dying. Everybody's grandmother's dying. It's called old age, bro. Everybody's dying. Well, I need to move closer to home to help my mother. She's sick. Are you a damn doctor? What are you doing on the daily to provide support? These kids think it's a game, man. And the problem is, and I'm going to be real, the problem is these coaches advising them to transfer to them. Don't worry about it. We'll apply for the waiver. We got you. That's how that conversation's going down. We're going to give you the waiver. We got you. Don't worry about it. Because it's on your gaining school to apply for the waiver. Not your departing school, your gaining school. So if you leave, they're going to apply for the waiver and get you approved, theoretically. Get you approved. And it ain't working. Somebody said, oh, this is racist. If it was a white player, they wouldn't approve. Nah, shut up. I've seen so many players. You know how many black players have been approved? You know how many thousands of black players have been approved? If it was a valid justification and a valid situation, you would be approved. You're not approved. The appeal should be enough. You're not approved. It's the reality of the situation. 65-7. Yeah, man. Jesus, you're just in here talking nonsense. They didn't win by 30 points last year. And the team is far improved from last year. TCU is far worse, and Colorado is far better last year. And the score was only 25 points. You're saying it's going to be 60 points? One team got significantly better. One team got significantly worse. You don't make any sense. It's like you've done no analysis of the rosters. I bet you hang out and just talk shit on Twitter all day. You probably call your stomach a tummy. You probably say, I got a bellyache. Texas wins every Big 12 game by 3 touchdowns. Okay, that's pretty steep. TCU versus Kansas in the Big 12 championship this year. Sounds like a terrible thing. Jesus, you're just yelling out randomness. Texas will never go 6-6 under Sark. I hope not. Rico, Mikey Matthews is in the starting lineup for tomorrow. I'm excited to watch. I'm excited, Devin. I'm excited. Why? Because I told you guys a 3-star wide receiver was going to be somebody, and nobody listened to me. I can't wait to go back and find my video, my I Am Right video. How do I join the Pick'em League? Trent, we've been over this. You go to ESPN, just like I'm showing you guys here on the screen. Go to the homepage. As soon as you go to the homepage, you're going to see it over here. Fantasy football sign up? Nah, don't pick that one. Pick the Pick'em. If you don't see it, that's fine. College football week 1, that looks about right. But we're going to go up here. We just go up to fantasy. Go to fantasy, and you go to college Pick'em 2023. Boom, it pops up. It'll give you this little thing, tell you which one to pick. You go ahead and pick confidence on the far right. Hit play now. It'll give you some stuff. You're gonna make your picks, lock them all in. Lock in your picks for week 1. Go to groups. Go to show all groups. Rico Knows right there, and you join it. We're over 1,000 now. We're just behind ESPN's streak. Don't let us lose. We can pass these guys. We're gonna put ESPN on notice, y'all. Rico Knows. That's how you do it. You're going to have a bullseye on your back from the Big 12 this year. I better be happy with 6 victories. Jesus, you don't matter, bro. Jesus, you wear size 7 shoes, dude. You pee when you sit down, bro. Justin, if Oklahoma State doesn't win 7 games, is Gundy on the hot seat? I believe so. Especially with their record. Ricky Williams was a flop. Vince Young better than Baker Mayfield and Tebow. Go back and look at the stats, Joseph. Go back and look at the stats. You're talking crazy. Vince Young was absolutely horrendous his last year. Horrendous. You guys don't know what you're talking about at all. Hey, Rico, thoughts on Seahawks claiming Kai Blue Kelly? Love your videos, by the way. Getting the son of an NFL football player, he obviously didn't work out at being a 6th-round draft pick out of Stanford. Thanks for the tip there, Clem. I really appreciate you. What I'll say is I thought he knows how to prepare as a professional. Thought he played well at Stanford. He looks like a good kid, but I think there might be injury concerns or something nobody's talking about. There's no way you release your draft pick hoping he clears waivers. Like, you just don't do that. But they did it. Congrats to the Seahawks. I think Pete Carroll watches a whole lot of Pac-12 football, so I think he knows Kelly well. Being at Stanford, he's watched him play many, many games. So I hope he gets on a team that really wants him and gives him a chance. Thanks, Rico. Good to see everybody. Thank you very much. Matt says, Arizona State coach on Jawan Mitchell. You're either going to practice. Yeah, we got it. Number 2, good person and things are not. Fit would see you in prime. So I made a video about this, Matt. I made a video about this at length. I won't talk about it today because that's a Pac-12 issue, but go back and watch the video. I posted on YouTube and here. Morant's Rant says, Rico, you, me, 110 high hurdles right now. So Morant's Rants is my twin brother. He wants to challenge me to a 110 high hurdle race right now. What I would say to Morant's Rants right now is he cannot clear hurdles. He thinks he can, but he can't. That man has difficulty tying his shoes, and I know it. Baylor beats UCF. I believe that's a possibility for sure. Boom Shakalaka says, Rico Suave back in the building. Brooklyn, holla back. Holla back, youngin'. Woo, woo. Yeah. Hey, Brooklyn and Queens is a rough-ass place to be, bro. We took the train. We took the Long Island Railroad. It looked rough out the window. Rico tells no lies. Thank you very much. I try not to. Jason says, can you break down if and how ECU could be, again, thanks, Top. No, I will break them down on Sunday. The game's already going to happen. It's my bad. I'm not doing any Group of 5 breakdowns until Sundays. 100% facts only. Thank you very much. Jonathan Pugh says, what I heard, Rico, is that he got close with Prime and he got better with him, but I'm with you. He's just chasing primetime IMO. Yeah, so I don't care. I don't care if he got close with somebody and he got better with them. I don't care what excuse you use. Justify having to leave one school for the other. You improve, then once you improve from your depressed state, then you're going to be determined no longer clinically depressed. Then they're going to get you off the Zoloft and the Wellbutrin. Guys, I'm a mental health. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I've been involved in mental health. I'm a military member, guys. That's all we deal with is behavioral health. All we deal with is mental health for 20-something years. All my guys are on something. Everybody's getting over PTSD, trauma from a sexual assault. They're homesick. They're depressed. They're alcoholic. Everybody's dealing with something. And I'm the senior leader to hundreds of them. I see this shit all the time. And what I'm telling you is you can't just use that excuse for why you don't know right from wrong or why you suck at life. Like when they tell me Eric Gilbert broke into a vape shop and I watched the tape, they're saying, well, he's schizophrenic. Well, then he's not fit for duty, bro. He's not fit for public consumption. He shouldn't be out in public among people. That dude needs to be in a room with padded walls. That's real. Or jail cell. Figure it out. The man's breaking laws. Rico, who do you root for? Root for me, bro. Rico knows. Tariq says that Texas fan is delusional. Very much so. FSU going 12-0. Talk about it on Monday. Okay, thanks, Rico. Looking forward to joining the league. Thank you so much, Trent. Yo, Rico, have you heard of 4-star quarterback Bear Bachmeier out of SoCal? So Bear out of SoCal played at Marietta. He also has a brother, Tiger Bachmeier. They're both younger brothers of Hank Bachmeier. Tiger plays wide receiver, by the way. Yeah, I know Bear. I know Bear Bachmeier. Is he going to Oregon State still? Let me know. But you guys can't be dropping names on me like I don't know who they are. I will just sit here and dominate. What's up? Okay, Warren Thompson, wide receiver for TCU. Wide receiver number 1 for TCU? No, not that I know of. That's news to me. That's not what I have in my mind that I can remember. I think Jared Wiley, the tight end, is the number 1 wide receiver. When I saw Morantz on my For You page, I actually tripped out for a minute. He looks nothing like me. Yes, that is a real depression. We thank you for your service, Rico. It is much appreciated. Everybody has different varying levels of depression. I'm not here to marginalize anyone's depression. I'm just going to tell you that as a service member, I've dealt with a lot. I just had a best friend. I had a coworker, a brother in arms, die last week. Okay? We have people die. And he committed suicide. He's a master sergeant, been in the Army 20 years. He was retiring next month. And he killed himself last week, bro. And I used to work with this man every day for 8 years. Like, that doesn't mean I get to go out and break laws. That doesn't mean I'm so depressed I'm debilitated. That everybody handles everything differently. We all have varying levels of resilience. And naturally, innately. And you can build it and get better. But these kids going around just using these excuses to get eligible at other schools because they want to play with their coach and be on a marquee program, I just cannot get down with it, bro. I can't. Because if you have behavioral health issues, if you have real depression, if you have real anxiety, real PTSD, football's secondary. I don't want to hear about eligibility. I want to hear about, am I getting my treatment? Do I still go to my appointments? Are you still paying for my medication? Because this is what I need to function to be a student athlete. Stop worrying about eligibility. You got a whole year to get better, or do you think you're not ever going to get better? Why are we talking about athletic eligibility and not mental health capacity and just improving? You guys are fucking, they're walking a fine line of getting people not to give a shit about them. Real talk. Everybody's all up in arms. Oh my God, it's so sad, Rico. He watched his coach die right in front of him on the field. On the field, he watched him die on the field. Yeah, I had a fucking battle buddy die on the field in front of me too. At a PT test, another master sergeant collapsed right in front of me. I didn't put CPR on him. I laughed at the specialist who couldn't find the pulse and said, "Move out of the way." I said, "Go get the ice sheets. Hey, Top, something's wrong here." Nah, man, stop complaining. And I walked away from a dead man on the floor. Do you know how I feel about it? Does that mean I get to go out and make errors and do things? Does that mean I got to move now? I got to follow this guy? I need my blanket? No, bro. It just pisses me off that people don't understand. Like, real mental health concerns, get your help, get your medication, but don't put it on blast to get sympathy from people. It's not to make it's not to make your life easier or better. Why did you leave Jackson State? I'm mad about it. Your mic is peaking when you get loud still, by the way. My bad, bro. You guys got to work with me. I'm not good at this. Sorry, guys. Mizzou 9-3, just a reminder. Not a big deal. The big white quarterback from K-State. Thoughts about him? Colin Thompson, like, he's a good quarterback. That's all there is to it. They got a good quarterback. K-State's got themselves a quarterback. So, played great last year in relief. I like everything he did. Do you remember Drew Henson and his story? If so, thoughts? Played football at Michigan, played baseball for the Yankees, ended up on the Cowboys later in life. I mean, I know Drew Henson. Yeah. Colin Klein. Be next up for head coach. Okay. I like him a lot. Your mic is peaking. My bad, guys. Thank you guys very much. Exactly why you should commit to a school and not the coach. Do what you do. Yo, Rico, I'm doing a fantasy college draft. Any sleepers I should look for? No, I got nothing for you, Stein. I don't know any college players. Real random, but I was on Max Preps the other day and went back to look at Jake Browning's stats. Kid was different and put up the wildest stats ever as a North California kid. A lot of guys do. North California doesn't have hard competition. Southern California does. It's not an overall mic volume issue. You're quiet now. It's something with the settings. Yeah, I don't know, man. I suck at all this. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to. There we go. It's going to just top out and go crazy. Let me turn this down. And maybe it'll do better like that. I don't know. I'm looking at my green things. Who knows what I'm doing? Guys, I quit. Adult life. Wait, never mind. Your volume is good. My bad. I think you fixed the issue. Thank you. I was thinking about joining the military, Rico, but, man, I don't know how you guys can deal with watching people die like that all the time. It's not all the time. That's why it's traumatic. It's not all the time. I'm a junior in high school. Would it be a good way to start I don't know what you're coming from. I don't know what opportunities you have in life, but it made me wealthy. It got me where I wanted to be. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm grateful. Hey, remember, guys, thank you for being here. I do this for my father, y'all. Peace.
I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist. And it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify. The things that you believe in have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean. You know,